Hello and welcome to the 700 Club. Well, once again, a court in Turkey has rejected an appeal for the release of American pastor Andrew Brunson. That decision comes as the Trump administration is warning it could step up the pressure on Turkey for Brunson's release. Jennifer Wishon brings us the story from Washington.
With cameras rolling and the world watching a cabinet meeting at the White House, President Trump raised the case of American evangelical pastor Andrew Brunson, who is still being detained in Turkey on charges related to terrorism. Accusations both Brunson and the U.S. say are false.
They have not proven to be a good friend. They have a great Christian pastor there. He's a very innocent man.
Turkey's economy is already in a downward spiral, and the president's Treasury Secretary announced more financial pressure is on the way if Turkey doesn't release Brunson.
As you know, we were very clear with our counterparts there, both Secretary Pompeo and myself, on the release of the pastor. We've put sanctions on several of their cabinet members. Working with you, we have more that we're planning to do if they don't release him quickly.
Last month, at Brunson's third court hearing in nearly 2 years, U.S. officials thought they had a deal to free him after the U.S. helped Turkey by pressuring Israel to release a Turkish citizen imprisoned there. But instead, Brunson was placed under house arrest, where some fear his life is in danger.
Certainly the president has a great deal of frustration on the fact that Pastor Brunson has not been released, as well as the fact that other U.S. citizens and employees of diplomatic facilities have not been released. And we're going to continue to call on Turkey to do the right thing and release those individuals.
Christina Arriaga, vice chair of the U.S. Commission on International Religious Freedom, says every American can help pressure Turkey by avoiding buying Turkish goods.
I have great faith in the American people, and I'm hoping that at a minimum they can make anyone who has a Nutella sandwich or anyone who has towels that come from Turkey that unwillingly they're participating in lifting the economy of Turkey, which is something that we should not be doing when they're holding Americans like Pastor Brunson.
If he's not released, Pastor Brunson's next hearing is scheduled for October 12th. He faces 35 years in prison. Jennifer Wishon, CBN News, Washington.
Well, not using Turkish goods, I'm sure, can have impact, but maybe the greatest impact we can all have is to continue to pray for Pastor Brunson. You know, he's in a very difficult situation, sort of caught between and betwixt in this whole scenario. We need to ask God to do something significant, something of eternal significance in the life of this man and in our relationship with Turkey. Well, in other news, Democrats in the Senate say they want more information on President Trump's Supreme Court nominee, Brett Kavanaugh. John Jessup has that story from our CBN News Bureau in Washington. John?
Thanks, Terry. Senate Democrats say they're getting ready to sue the National Archives so they can access more Supreme Court nominee Kavanaugh's records, including some from his time as White House staff secretary for President George W. Bush. Democrats have already used a Freedom of Information Act request to get some of Kavanaugh's records, trying to find information they can use to block his confirmation. Republicans say the Senate has already received about 250,000 pages of documents from his time in the Bush administration. Kavanaugh's confirmation hearing begins September 4th. Well, last month we brought you the story of French Jews who left France bound for Israel because of growing anti-Semitism. Well, this week more immigrants arrived in Tel Aviv, this time from the U.S. and Canada. They had different reasons for coming, but as John Wagi explains, many believe they're fulfilling Bible prophecy.
More than 200 new immigrants have arrived on this flight from New York, and nearly a quarter of them are lone soldiers, young people who came without their families and will soon join the Israeli military. Yaakov Khan from Monsey, New York is just out of high school. He'll be stationed in the south, near Gaza.
I'm not scared. There's no reason to be scared. It's our land. We don't have a choice, you know? You gotta do what you have to do.
And what does his family in New York think?
They're very proud of me. I hope that they follow in my steps, you know, and do what I do.
Mazal Tov, I don't know whether you know it or not, but you just entered Jewish history.
Michael Oren, deputy prime minister to Benjamin Netanyahu, was an immigrant from the U.S. himself almost 40 years ago. He says most Americans come for different reasons than the French immigrants who came last month from a place where anti-Semitism is rampant.
This is a very different aliyah. The people who came from North America are not coming because they're not fleeing anti-Semitism. They are not here because of economic strife. All right? They've made a decision to move from probably a better economy than our economy to certainly maybe a more secure environment than our environment to serve in an army. In the United States, they don't have to serve in the army. Here, they do have to serve in the army. It's a very profound, weighty decision when you think about it.
Zelda Wildman from Ohio came holding a card from her father. It was issued by the British Mandate government in Palestine, denying him the right to come to Israel before it became a modern nation.
I feel like I'm fulfilling his dream. We lost all our family in the Holocaust, and he came to Ohio because that's where he was sent. He always wanted to go to Palestine.
Jeff DeHaan brought his family from Connecticut. His wife, Dorit, took care of the kids for months while Jeff took up a new job in Israel.
It was difficult to be separated. It was difficult for the kids. But we made it.
Their son Tal summed it up for the family.
It's just been really hard and stressful for when we had to get everything set up. But now once we're here, it's a lot easier and it's very worth it because this has been a dream for us and we are living the dream.
We asked Yaakov Kahn if he is fulfilling the words spoken by the Bible prophets.
I think it's pretty obvious that we are because we're returning.
John Wagi, CBN News, Ben Gurion Airport, Tel Aviv.
Thanks, John. Well, here at home, the film Running for Grace hits theaters today. It shines a spotlight on the issue of adoption by highlighting the story of an orphan who uses his blazing speed to deliver medicine to poor coffee pickers in the mountains of Hawaii and then falls in love with the daughter of a plantation owner. Ephraim Graham has this sneak peek.
We'll take 3, Mark. Just gonna have you come to this place here. He's gonna be really yelling at you. And action card!
That's filmmaker David Cunningham at work on the film Running for Grace. It's set in Hawaii in the 1920s.
During that time, there was laws about racial integrity where it was actually illegal to adopt children of mixed ethnicities. Joe is half Caucasian, half Japanese, and rejected by both communities. A new doctor comes to town, played by Matt Dillon, and takes the boy under his wing.
What's with that kid? He just showed up out of nowhere. Where's your parents? All right, kid, come on. You can live with me. I'm the new doctor for the plantation. If any of you are sick or get hurt, you just see Joe, and he'll come get me.
When I read the script, I said right away, this is really good because this is very specific and very authentic and very real. You know, the coffee fields, the plantation, the prejudices in society at that time.
You know, Joe, you seem pretty smitten with the big man's pretty daughter. I need your help. I got another one like this.
Miss Grace has hurt her ankle.
Miss Grace? Let's just show him that you're a qualified assistant.
Cunningham isn't just a filmmaker. He comes from generations of missionaries on both sides of his family.
This particular film is all about the power of adoption. Adoption is the gospel, and the gospel is adoption.
Jim Caviezel also stars in this powerful story.
I think it's a film that will really resonate with the people, has great redemption to it.
I have been trying to adopt this kid. I believe this young man has the makings of a physician.
Perhaps you'd like to be on a winning team.
The distinguished doctor has taken an interest in you, my dear.
A miracle.
Selling your only daughter off is a miracle?
I wouldn't give up if I were you. You're meant to be with Grace.
Ephraim Graham, CBN News.
Well, as we mentioned, Running for Grace hits theaters today. And as Ephraim mentioned, the film's director, David Cunningham, is the son of missionaries. His parents founded the organization Youth with a Mission, known as YWAM. Terry?
Making a difference in the lives of young people all over the world. You know, adoption is a picture of the gospel. It's because God has adopted us into his family, just taken us wholly up as his own, given us his name, given us all of the promises and all of his power that comes with that, and a promise to spend eternity with him. It's what he does for each and every one of us. It's why when we adopt, it's such a powerful symbol of who our God is.